Blessed day, guys, and peace be upon you this morning. So in this video, we are going to do VLAN hopping attacks prevention, through which we're going to cover how to configure Switchport no negotiation and to disable CDP on switches. All right. Okay, so before we get deep, let's open Google spreadsheet and let you know that we are in these two, 11 and 12. We are going to cover them together, right? We are going to cover the two together, right? Okay. So I'll go back to my Packet Tracer and open the PPT so that we can understand what VLAN hopping attacks are and the mechanisms of how to prevent them. So VLAN hopping attack, as I explained here, is a method of attacking the network resources of the VLAN by sending packet to a port not usually accessible from an end device, right? The main goal of this form of attack is to gain access to other VLANs on the network. So in VLAN hopping attacks, you don't need a router to communicate between different VLANs. By default, different VLANs do not communicate. By default, you need a router or a layer 3 device. Okay, but when you employ this kind of attack, VLAN hopping attack, the VLANs will communicate without any layer 3 device. So whenever something that is not supposed to happen is happening, then that's a security risk. We need to prevent that kind of a scenario from happening in our network. How to prevent VLAN hopping attacks in our network, right? Okay. So I go back to PPT and explain further. So this normally occurs through the two ways, double tagging, where let's say an attacker is in VLAN 10, right? And the attacker wants to attack VLAN 20. So an attacker is double tagging the frame, encapsulating VLAN 20 inside VLAN 10, okay? Double tagging. Then another one is called switch spoofing. This happens through this protocol, DTP packets. Okay, so there are a lot of things that you need to understand about VLAN hopping attacks, right? So in this video is just a recap. I don't need to explain too much about it. Okay, just a recap, right? Okay, because these notes I'll send them over the email. All right. So preventing double tagging includes 3 steps. We have to make sure that no port is left in the default VLAN 1. Then we have to make sure that there is a native VLAN that is assigned to a trunk port. Okay. Then we need to explicitly tagging of the native VLAN should be enabled for all trunk ports. Okay. All right. So this is a sample way of how to configure, how to prevent VLAN hopping attacks, right? Very, very simple. So I'll go back to our Packet Tracer and explain a little bit. So I drew this topology here, so you can also draw this topology because I have not didn't do any configuration, just a topology. Okay, it's a very raw topology. Okay, so in this topology you can see we have in VLAN 10, 20 and 30. By default, these devices cannot communicate with either of these devices. Also this one cannot communicate with this one, also this one, with this one and this one. Why? Because they belong to different VLANs. But when an attacker comes here, because it's VLAN 30 and he wants to attack VLAN 20, he or she will double tag the frame, encapsulating VLAN 20 inside VLAN 30. Okay. All right. So that's what we want to prevent in this scenario. So I already highlighted a few steps to help us achieve this objective. Number 1 is to draw the necessary topology, decorate and comment. I've done that, you see. Okay. Number 2, to create VLANs and name them, one for hosts and one as native. Remember, the native VLAN will be used for the trunk ports, right? So in every switch you need to create VLANs and name them. So here we're going to create VLAN 10 and the native VLAN. But the native VLAN should be the same in all the switches. Okay, all right. So I go here and come to CLI, enable config VLAN 10 name, let's say that's IT department, exit, then VLAN let's say VLAN 33, okay, and name to be native. This is for trunk. Okay, all right. So we go to the other switches and configure VLANs. So here enable config VLAN 20 now here, name HR, exit VLAN 33, name native. Okay, exit. And finally we do here also, okay, VLAN 30 and the native VLAN. Make sure the native VLAN is the same in all the switches. Okay, enable config VLAN 30, name, let's say finance fin, exit VLAN 33, name to be native. Okay, so we're done with the second step. So we're done with the creating VLANs and naming them, one for host and one for VLAN, native VLAN. So the native VLAN should be the same in all the switches. Number 3, identify access ports, assign them VLAN IDs, and issue no-negotiate command on these ports. Okay, all right. So why do we need to issue the no-negotiate command on all the ports? So let's say an attacker comes and connects to any of the ports, okay, and maybe they want to negotiate so that that port can form trunk to allow access of multiple VLAN. So when we issue the no-negotiate command, you know, the port will not participate in sending CDP or DTP, dynamic trunking protocol frames that are mainly used for forming trunk interfaces, right? Okay, so we need to do that very fast so that this port should not participate in any trunk formation. No-negotiate command, so that this port should not participate in any trunk formation, because the moment they participate in trunk formation, they can allow passage of multiple VLAN. We just want them to access one VLAN and to never negotiate anything. Okay, all right. So we go here, and the first thing we do, let's identify the access ports. Access ports are the ports that are not should never be trunk. So trunk ports, you can see it's FA1, FA2, FA3, FA3, and FA4, I believe. Yeah. So from FA1 to FA4, this should be trunk. And now from FA05 to FA24, and also gig 01 and gig 02 should be access ports. So we go here and we say interface range FA0/5 to 24. Okay, and also comma gig 0/1 to 2. Okay, switchport mode access, we make them access, right? Then the statement says assign them VLAN IDs and issue no-negotiate command. So let's assign them VLAN ID. Just say switchport access VLAN 10 on this side, right? Okay, then we issue no-negotiate command, switchport no-negotiate. Then we query nothing, we hit enter, just like that. We are done there. We exit. Okay, we go to this switch and do the same. So I'll just do this. I'll copy this range, because I made my things uniform. From FA1 to FA4 should be trunk in all the switches, you can see also here. So from FA5 to 24 and gig 01 to 2 should be access port, just like that. Then you make them access first. So switchport mode access. Okay, then to access VLAN, here is VLAN 20. Okay, then switchport access VLAN 20. Okay, then no-negotiate, so that they don't participate in any trunk formation, right? Okay, so switchport no-negotiate and you hit enter. That's all. You come to this switch and the range is the same. I made it uniform. Okay, make them access ports. Switchport mode, access first. Okay, then switchport access VLAN 30 in this case, right? Okay, after doing that, switchport no negotiate, very simple, exit. So we're done with that. So we go to step 4 with switch highlights, identify and configure trunk ports, assign them native VLAN, and issue no negotiate command on these ports. Very simple. We identify trunk, we configure them, we assign them native VLAN, and issue no negotiate command. Okay. All right. So we go here and interface. The transports are from FA1 to 4, FA1 to 4, FA1 to FA0/1 to 4. Interface range. Okay. Then switchport mode, trunk, and you hit enter. Then switchport trunk native VLAN to be VLAN 33. You remember we created VLAN 33 in all the switches, right? Okay, then switchport no negotiate, and you hit enter. That's all. Another thing that we need to see there, send them native VLAN, configure trunk, assign them native VLAN, and issue no negotiate command. Very simple, guys. Very simple. Okay, so what I need to do is just to copy this range, paste the range, and paste. This is the range that I need to copy here, and to do them in all other switches. So we come here, guys. We are almost done preventing VLAN hopping attacks. Okay, so when I go back here, I go back to the configure steps. We are being told to disable CDP in the devices. Remember, in this statement, we say that one of the ways through which VLAN hopping attacks is achieved is switch spoofing, where it involves sending CDP packets to negotiate a trunk with the switch. So we need to disable this mechanism so that it's no longer in use in the devices. Okay, all right, so let's do that. Disable CDP in all the devices. So I just go here and say no CDP run. Very simple, and do it. I come back here and say no CDP run. Do it. We're done. And finally here, no CDP run. Do it. So we are done. We're done preventing VLAN hopping attacks, and all the access ports, they cannot be accessed through VLAN hopping attacks, right? Okay, because we have configured no negotiation, then we've disabled CDP on the switches, and also we've made sure that the trunk is using native VLAN, which is 33, and not the default VLAN. Okay, all the switches are also in respective VLAN IDs, right? So if I can just say just a simple command, do show CDP, something like that. Oh, CDP is not enabled, so what I want to say, do show start. You can see from FA1 to FA4, you can see switchport trunk native VLAN 33, then mod to be trunk, then no negotiate, right? Okay, so let's go from 5 to something. So you can see they're in the configured VLAN, their access ports, and there no negotiation, right? Okay, then I want to see the no CDP run. No CDP run is here. Okay, all right. So thank you so much, guys. I'll go back to Google spreadsheet and mark the two as done. Yes. share with friends, like this video, drop a comment below, and please subscribe to my channel. See you again guys, and bye.